Hello there, it's me RJB, and I have returned. Today I'm going to deliver you a battle, a rivalry that's been building up for a couple of years now, between none other than Voss. And his opponent, of course, is none other than the one and only Leebokgu. These two players have been at odds for a year, or maybe even longer than a year now. And the matches between these two are always super and duper exciting. So without any further ado, any wasting of time, it is time for us to dive into this epic battle between Voss, who is Mario here, and Leebokgu, who is Bowser here. Let's see how this match is going to unfold itself. We've got Voss here on the top right of the map, on the dark blue color. And his opponent here on the other side of the map is Leebokgu on the pale green Protoss. As is tradition, we speed up the first 2 minutes to not drag out the boring portion of the match for too long and too much. Let's fix the sound settings, because I figured out last time things weren't actually exactly as I wanted them to be. There's a little bit extra sound, just a little bit extra. Alright, minute 2 has passed. Looks like Leebokgu is going with the most standard of standard openings as Protoss against a Terran. That's a Nexus, Forge, a Choke, a Gateway, and 2 Gaster in the back. All for the setup to get really strong at about 6 minutes into the match, where everything just falls into place. The tech falls into place, the robotics all finish up, you get Reavers out on the map. Sorry. Again, sorry. You basically get everything you need out onto the map and finished up and running for full combat offensive potential. Now Leebokgu on the other side of the map here, now on the blue color, because I changed up the colors, starts off with 3 barracks into 2 command centers because he has not been found yet. And considering he has not been found yet, it means that his opponent is most likely not rushing. He has also already found the choke here with this marine that is now pulling back to his own base. So he already knows that Leebokgu, having gone for a choke here in the front, cannot attack. And if you cannot attack, you might as well just go for defensive, or well, economic structures. Because there's nothing out there to harm you, nothing to hurt you, nothing to slow you down or put you at risk. But it looks like Leebokgu is going for something quite fishy. That's what I wanted to say if he didn't have that robo there in the front, because if he didn't have that robo in the front, he was going to go for Dark Templars. But maybe he is going for just the usual, I think it's going to be Zealot Speed. That's why he has the quick Citadel of Adun. And 2 robotics for 1 shuttle and 2 reavers. But I might be wrong, I don't want to call it too early. There's still a lot of variables involved, variations he can go for, a lot of different unique paths he can choose to use. One Zealot there made it into the base because he was busy chasing down a probe. The Zealot there in the base getting information, sees pretty much everything, sees that Voss has 3 command centers in total, and hasn't built a scan yet. He is just farming up all the minerals, getting a lot of extra SCVs, and I think at about 5 minutes in, he's going to add 2 comsat stations to get that information gathering going. Also, it might turn out that I was wrong about Leebokgu going for Reavers, because he's sticking to a single shuttle, a single robotics for a single shuttle. He added on gravitic boost, a support bay for gravitic boosters really early on, and went for a Templars archive. So most likely going to be Templars. There's robot number 2, shuttle is finishing up. Templar Reaver is on the way actually. So it looks like it is just going straight for mass drops. Not really a lot of offensive power involved, except for those drops, which he is going to try to sneak in. But concerning Voss on the other side of the map, flying all the way across the map might take some time. He also has these marines here just in case Leebokgu makes the mistake of sending the shuttle right over the middle or if he makes a mistake of not defending his front properly, which might just be the case. There's 3 Zealots in the front. We've got about 12 Marines there stimming in. Gonna take down those Zealots first because the Zealots are too far away from the cannons to get cannon protection. One of the Zealots goes down. Alright, he took down 1 Zealot. Now he's just repairing. Reaver spawns though, and the Reaver spawning means that this Marine attack is not gonna work out any longer. So Reaver unloads, Reaver shoots, and the Marines go down. Let's zoom in. Pretty much all of them are dead and gone, running away, trying to outrun death, and they do in fact outrun death. And they're gonna try to go in to snipe the shuttle, but the shuttle is on the high ground. Gonna try to catch it nonetheless. He sees it, he's on the chase. Reaver unloads there though, he's gonna try to snipe the shuttle. Ooh, he splits up the Marines there to prevent the most damage he can take. And it looks like the Reaver is actually... Is it gonna survive or is it gonna go down? The Reaver goes down. So that there pretty much gives Voss a huge leap forward, a giant leap forward. Because he's no longer threatened by that shuttle and the Reaver, which could have done some serious damage. And I mean, it did do some damage. It killed a bunch of Marines that could have helped him defend. But the fact that he's now somewhat safe for a longer period of time, and if he hadn't killed it, it's gonna take a while before Leebokgu can actually start dealing some damage. He does have the shuttle there on the way, but is this going to do the trick? He does have some vision there on the side. He's got Marines there in between. Only not a lot of Marines. Oh, the Wraith finds the shuttles, but doesn't respond in time. But the Marines are coming in to stim down the shuttle. Stimming down the shuttle, stims down both. 1 Templar there arrives on the scene. He dodges the storm there, though. Only loses a single SCV. Loses Marines, a tank, but not much else. 1 SCV there is not that important. So both players now on about equal amounts of workers. Leebokgu added a 3rd Nexus just to boost up his economy, given that they're so far away from each other, and he's going for air armor and instantaneous carriers. He's adding on Stargates, got the fleet beacon there up and running. I don't think he has interceptor capacity yet. He's still focusing on flying those drops across map, although he's taking his time. He's taking his sweet damn time before flying all the way across the map to fly that shuttle in. It's gonna take a while, but he wants to prepare a really, really strong shuttle drop. Sometimes it's better to just prepare a really strong one instead of just sending it out impatiently and not getting any results because it's simply too easy to defend against. The 2 arrays there on the sides really helping him with getting vision up on the hills. Also now building a science facility here that he's going to use for an EMP and then lift up into the air, because after the EMP it doesn't serve much of a purpose anymore within Voss's playstyle. Although now 4 shuttles coming in, not enough Marines there to kill it. Starts to unload. The Marines there actually do take down most of the shuttles, and actually he killed the correct shuttles with the Templars in them. So once again, 8:30 in, and we have received pretty much no significant damage as Voss here, and Voss is just going to keep on growing bigger and bigger. Science facility is finished. We got interceptor capacity finishing up just as I select the fleet beacon. We're going to be seeing carriers in the near future. I don't know if Voss has been scanning all that much. Nope, he's got 150 energy, so he is not aware that carriers are on the way. I do expect him to start scanning very soon, but he's being a little bit sloppy right now. Not keeping up with the information gathering. It does have upgrades and an armory on the way, so there's the ship weapons on the way. Great against carriers. Great against carriers, though only 1 starport there. We have Dark Archon here also on the bottom side, and Mind Control on the way. I hope he doesn't get to use Mind Control all that much, but you never know. There comes the scan, and I think he saw the starports for the carriers. Might even see a carrier finish up. Although I don't think he was looking, because most people don't look until the scan duration ends. Which honestly, I'm not sure if you get much more from just looking at the screen for the entire scan duration. So might as well just turn back and look at your own base and continue building and all that kind of stuff. A lot of Marines sprint about. I think he's gonna try to get anti-air as quick as he can. He already queued up Goliaths and they're finishing up. He's adding on more command centers to boost up his economy. Well, no, he no longer needs to boost up his economy. He's just using it to... Well, technically speaking, he is doing it to boost up his economy because he wants to cover these refineries there on the bottom side with the command centers. Otherwise, they have to travel all this long distance. Not worth it. Relocating the starport to open up more space for more starports. Yeah, just getting everything he needs. Mostly upgrades and turrets to defend himself. Basically, he's trying to get as much defense against those carriers as he can, although his SCV count now is getting scarily high, 94, way too many. But I think he will kill a couple of them not much later into the game. Pylons being thrown there onto the sides to get a contain going for the carriers to make it easier to fight against Voss's anti-air units. Also to slow him down whenever he wants to move out and he loses his carriers. So Leebokgu here playing a very, very fast building game, but not a very intense fighting game. But he is setting himself up for a lot of success with a lot of great moves that he's definitely going to need in the future. He's setting himself up for a lot of different things. Voss now on 103 SCVs. He stopped making them, or is he still making one more for 104? So that's, I'd say, about 30 too many SCVs. Also killing his machine shops because he completely messed up his base. It happens, you know, sometimes you just completely mess up. We got a couple of carriers going across the map, only 5 of them gonna join here and kill the stuff here in the air to deny side vision. We've got some zealots there in the front, prepared to give their life to open up even more supply space. So maybe those zealots can open up supply space for another carrier. I see 8 carriers on the map, gotta drop flying across the map as well. That's 4 Reavers, we've got a Dark Archon, 2 Zealots, 3 Zealots, and 3 Templars, so that might kill some stuff. Not sure how much it's gonna kill, but it might kill some stuff. It might even get a mind control SCV out onto the map, but I know something that you guys don't, so I highly wish that it doesn't. More cannons going up on the side there, still a lot of preparation, a lot of inaction, but the action is about to go down as the carriers come flying in, drop one flying in as well, starts to unload there on the side, gonna try to get the mind control going, but he cannot unload the Dark Archon, and all the SCVs are simply too far away to really mind control anything. The Reavers there are doing a lot of damage there to structures on the low ground, also killing a lot of Marines with storms. Reavers gonna try to clear out as much as they can, depots, armories, and turrets. More Templars coming forward, killing storms, killing Marines with the storms, carriers still firing away. But he doesn't get done what he wanted to do, and that is get a mind-controlled SCV under his control. It's still there on the side, and slowly this stuff here on the side is gonna go down, but it might just kill a couple more depots as the tank shoots down the Reavers. At least he got something done. Didn't kill the armory because it's getting repaired. Voss also now in the process of replacing all of his units. He's not building anything whatsoever. He's not building anything, although there comes the mind control. He's gonna not within range. He's not within range to mind control the SCV. Thank God, because that would have sucked really, really hard. Lands on the low ground. SCVs are pulling away. He's gonna kill the SCV there though. SCV goes down. But no mind control today for Leebokgu. He's gonna try to pick up the Dark Archon, fly it out, and try again later. But so far, we see no positive results coming out for Leebokgu as the pretty simple mind control attempt attack falls flat and gets nothing done except for killing some depots, which Voss apparently didn't need because he's still maxed out. More cannons being placed there on the side just to narrow the playing field for Voss, as that is always a very, very useful thing to do. More command centers being built there on the bottom side, still on 103 SCVs. His minerals are just skyrocketing up and up and up because he doesn't have much to spend. Well, he's got a lot to spend, but I mean he's not spending all of it that quick. Mostly focusing on realigning his base, while Leebokgu is pretty much focused on building across the map. So both players are just playing building simulator for now, and there's very little in action at the moment. But more carriers are arriving on the scene, and with more carriers on the scene, it of course means that this game is going to be quite mean, as the confrontation is about to commence. Flies his shuttle straight into some Goliaths and Wraiths there though. I hope those were empty, otherwise that would have been a wasted drop that he should have waited with using until the carriers were attacking. He's still building cannons up all along the side. He wants to be completely feeling safe before committing to any real aggression. I also hope that Voss starts siege tank shooting his own SCVs there on the mineral pile to open up some damn supply space because his army is simply laughably small. Yeah, still no mind control there. He's still hunting for it, still looking for it, still trying to make it happen, but I think Voss knows just enough that, no, I'm not going to give you the chance to do it. Although those SCVs there are pretty scary, they're on the side. Pretty scary, they're on the side, pretty close to the hill. I think Leebokgu finds his target, goes for the turret, sees that there's SCVs there in the mix, so now the shuttle is gonna move forward, gonna try to get the mind control down. Well, he recalled it. Where did he recall it to? He recalled it back to the base. Aw, that's a little sad. He recalled it all the way back to the base, but now it is Leebokgu's, now it's Voss's time to strike back and hopefully make something happen. He kills most of the carriers. Clearing out that nexus there on the bottom to open up some space for a command center. Now I'm wondering, how is Voss going to fix this? How is Voss going to take care of that SCV? He does have raids flying across the map. He's going to try to take down the SCV for sure. They're currently cloaked up, going to fly in over the bottom side. He just scanned for the SCV to find out where it is located. Flies in there, carriers in between, and cannons as well. So maybe the raids are going to go down before the SV goes down. Or if he's going to try to run away, but it gets stuck. Running. SV gets taken down with the last couple of shots from a raid, and that is Project Mind Control denied. Now that Leebokgu has spent so much time trying to get a mind controlled SCV, it is time for Voss, who's still tinkering and building and adjusting his base, to finally start striking back. As I said before, so many SCVs, and a very, very passive play that I usually don't see from Voss. He's playing extremely passive, taking absolutely zero risk whatsoever. 17 minutes, and we haven't seen any real fighting yet. We've seen some small attempts at fighting, but at least he managed to kill the mind-controlled SCV, which I think is just splendid. Splendid. I love it. I hate mind-controlled SCVs with a passion. He's got 5 armories, not sure why he made 5, but you know, if you lose 4, you still got 1 left. So there might be a great reasoning behind it. Also, he finally killed some of his SCVs. He killed 40 of them. And the fact that he killed 40 of them means that he is ready to move out once he has replaced those 40 SCVs with units to start fighting. Still a little bit of back and forth there on the middle with the carriers, but Leebokgu is scared to commit. He hasn't committed yet. He's waiting for his arbiters to arrive so he can stasis those damn Valkyries and damn raids to give the carriers some ability and breathing room to actually deal damage. Because a lot of Valkyries really do take care of those interceptors pretty damn quick. Same goes for the raids. They are pretty damn strong as interceptors. So now tanks are moving into the middle of the map. The action has started. We are in for a fight. We are in for a slobber knocker. At least I hope so. We're in for blood on the mat. Starts pushing. Tanks are pretty quick at taking down those cannons with their level 2-2 upgrades, soon to be level 3-3. The carriers coming in from the side. Arbiter tries to chase down the Valkyries. Valkyries are splitting up, but not quick enough. A couple of them are still outside of the stasis though, so interceptors won't be doing a whole lot, although now raids are joining as well just to take down interceptors. Ooh, alright, another stasis there. Great stasis on the raids. Also got another state. You get a total of 3 stasises off on the Valkyries and the raids. And now there's pretty much nothing to fight back against the carriers, but the carriers are slowly losing interceptors. Still trying to rebuild them though as fast as he can, but not. Well, actually he's going for the tanks first. He wants to open up, or at least stop the tank push for now. And I still don't think he has tried to go for another mind control, which I honestly find rather commendable. He does have the shuttle there with the Dark Archon, so he might try his hands at it again. Valkyries are now out of stasis. Carriers having trouble with the interceptors going down pretty damn fast, and the tanks now rolling forward once again as they are feeling safe. I think the Arbiter went down there to the raids or to the Valkyrie, so now we've got no stasis on the relevant units that are used to keep those carriers away, although they are flying into the beds there as they're not put in hold position. The tanks are still pushing forward though, doing a great job there at slowly winning the tug of war on the middle, but the carriers have not yet struck back. and they are looking to strike back, but they're flying straight into Valkyries, and they're all stacked on top of each other. There's 10 carriers trying to run away, but now the Valkyries are getting on top of the carriers, and the carriers are going down pretty damn fast. Look at them going down as the Valkyries are chasing them down. Though now the Valkyries above cannons have to turn tail, have to turn back, have to retreat, and wait for the tanks to finish up and clear out some of the cannons on the low ground there. Valkyries might go in soon again though, because those carriers are on low HP. Super low HP. Also, I can see Voss's hotkeys. That's kind of funny. Anyway, back to the Valkyries, which are on hotkey number 1. Got another group on hotkey number 2. And hotkey number 3, he's got nothing. Hotkey number 4, he's got a scan. 5 is SCVs, 6 is SCVs. And that's it. That's all the hotkeys he's using. 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Not a lot of hotkeys, to be honest. Anyway, all the carriers for Leebokgu have gone down, so he's quickly rebuilding them back at home. But it looks like he's not having much success. Having gone for the attempt to cheesily mind control his way out of the game, he gave Voss a lot of time to grow big, and grow big he did. This is 3, 3, 3, 3, 12, and there we've got number 13 and 14 for 14 factories. He's got some room to build some more, but he's filling it up with more turrets. He really likes turrets. Valkyrie's still back at home, not yet having found a target to kill. Cannons in the middle going down. Leebokgu is back in his base, building Zealots and High Templars. Also more carriers on the way to assist the carriers already in the air. Or is that Arbiters? He's building Arbiters. He's switching over to a ground force, but he has no Zealot speed yet. He completely forgot to get Zealot speed because he wasn't anticipating to need Zealots. Tanks there on the middle have passed all the way across map and now getting taken down. Valkyries there, though, are going to have to replace themselves with ground tanks as there's too many Zealots, which are still waiting on the speed upgrade. Does have level 2, 3, 2 upgrades on the ground forces, so he hasn't neglected the ground upgrades, but the carriers here, absolutely useless, get butchered by the Valkyries. They go down within a matter of seconds, not really opposing much, not really giving much opposition. Another gateway base here being built on 6 o'clock on the map. Zealots have walked into the middle, but Voss now sees that there's no speed. But it does give him a lot of time to retreat back home and start replacing those Valkyries with, hopefully, tanks. Because he knows Valkyries are not very useful against ground, and pretty much all of his supply is in Valkyries. That is also the reason why Leebokgu switched over to Zealots instead of staying with carriers, because the carriers, honestly, if there's a lot of Valkyries, the carriers don't do much, unless you have 5 Arbiters or something to non-stop put those Valkyries into stasis. But that can all go wrong with a simple EMP. Anyway, Valkyries are hanging in the enemy base, killing whatever spawns from those stargates, and then he's going to sacrifice them to cannons soon, I'm sure. But first we've got Zealots walking into Voss's base. Voss is not really putting up much of a fight as he doesn't have a lot of tanks back at home. His tanks are fully upgraded there though, but a lot of Zealots entering his base, and this might become scary here. This might become scary indeed. Now more tanks are spawning, sieging up in between those factories, which the Zealots cannot enter because these are pretty much functioning as a wall. The tanks are functioning as a live unit wall, preventing access deeper into the base. So he does kill some stuff, does kill some tanks, kill some turrets, but doesn't get much deeper in there. Also, these stargates have been completely rendered useless, as the Valkyries are just hanging out there, having a fun, great time, waiting for units to spawn. We've got tanks moving across map, we've got Dragoons moving out, and a shuttle as well. So honestly, Leebokgu not having his best game here, as nothing has really succeeded. Well, he did succeed once with getting the mind control, but Voss very smartly and nicely hunted down that SCV there in the enemy base with the sacrifice of those heroic 10 raids that did the job, got the job done behind enemy lines. Now we've got the defensive matrix there on the tank, keeping the tank alive. Dragoons pulling back to the base. He is still constructing the gateway proxy base there on the bottom side. Now 74 probes against 61 SCVs. 27,000 minerals for Leebokgu because he was using those carriers for so long, and carriers, if you don't use them much and if you don't lose them, don't cost that much mineral. So he's become very, very rich. And I don't think he's going to run out of money anytime soon. We've got another Dark Archon there loaded up into a shuttle. Might try to get another mind control going sometime in the near future. He's going to try. but I don't see any SCPs there on the sides. They're all on the main command center, and he hasn't moved any SCPs into the middle of the map to risk losing them to a mind control. Though now we've got an Arbiter army, an Arbiter supported Gateway Man army entering the middle of the map. There's tanks coming from Voss's base as well, ready to strike back and stop the rebellion of Zealots trying to get control back over the map. Valkyries are killing the Arbiter there in the base and returning back once they have surgically, precisely killed that Arbiter. The tanks there are winning the fight without even sieging up, but more Zealots are on the way there. Got a lot of gateways there ready to keep producing Zealots en masse. But Voss really having himself quite an easy time here against Leebokgu, who usually has such a strong Protoss against Terran. But this game, he has limited himself by accident, not on purpose. It just didn't work out. Voss defended the mind control attempt pretty well. Pretty tricky to defend it, because it's so easy to pull it off, but he did it really well. And now he's got control over the middle of the map, although not for long, because there's a lot of Zealots and Dragoons entering the middle, ready to clear out any mechanical structure or vehicle that has made their way across map. This is just gonna be a very steady and slow macro game where both players try to throw mass units at each other without anything special on the side going on, except he's building a massive base here with a lot of robos to prepare himself for a mass drop switch up somewhere down the line. Once again, the same scenario. Tanks are spawning, Zealots cannot physically get in much deeper. They can't get in much deeper. It can't go in much deeper, is what she said. Leebokgu is trying though, he's trying to ram those Zealots right in there. Does get something done, kills the factory, kills some units, keeps Voss locked in his base for now. But Voss is still pretty rich. We've got some tanks being put up on the hill there with a dropship, which is very abusive and annoying to deal with. And those Valkyries that are up on the hill are ensuring that Leebokgu has to use Templars to take care of the tanks, because unloading shuttles there is not going to happen, as the Valkyries would take down the shuttles. More dropships returning back to the middle to pick up more tanks, and he's just going to try and set up a very limiting perimeter on the hills here. Leebokgu has killed most of his probes. Actually, he killed all of the mining probes and is going for a full Gateway Man army alongside 8 carriers. Those 8 carriers alongside with a full Gateway army might just do the trick to keep Voss contained in his base and to keep him out of Leebokgu's base. Tanks up on the hill there getting replaced with more tanks. Tanks on the middle there getting stormed to death, not sieging up, not really minding them either. He's just playing a pure macro focus game while setting up a pretty good tank line there up on the hill and on the sides. Probably gonna pick up a couple more and put them down on the bottom hill, but the Arbiters here are moving forward. The scans are providing vision, and the Arbiters with the units beneath are forced to retreat. More tanks being placed upon the hill. He found the proxy base there with all the shuttles, which are finished just in time, but the gateways and the robos are now being killed, and a lot of money is being lost there on the side, and Leebokgu is still running out of money. Though he put most of his probes back on the minerals from the gas, so he's got about 20 probes mining gas, but that's not a lot. Mining minerals, but that's not a lot. But at least he has a lot of gas to spend, and he's not going to run out of gas anytime soon, because 13,000 gas is simply a lot of gas to have. Tries to unload units up on the hill, succeeds, but doesn't get enough units up on there. 2 tanks there, 1 tank there goes down, but still abusing the base there from up on the hill. Storms on the tanks there, takes down a couple of tanks. Now Arbiter's coming in, more storms coming down, kills a couple of Valkyries as well, but the tank there is still alive up on the hill. Tanks also being seized up behind the hill, and tanks rolling into the choke. He's going for a full control perimeter around Leebokgu's base. Leebokgu has carriers finishing up just now though, and considering all the Valkyries just went down, it looks like it's time for Leebokgu to strike back, as Voss was not expecting the carrier switch up, as he had already once before destroyed the carriers. A lot of Valkyries there still on the middle. Ooh, he gets an EMP there on the Arbiter. The frontal Arbiter also got EMP'd, so no stasis coming down on the Valkyries. So the Valkyries have good fighting chance against the carriers. Who's going to win this exchange? Is the Valkyries or the carriers? Carriers are pulling back, getting directly attacked by the Valkyries. Carriers take a lot of damage there from the Valkyries, but the Valkyries do go down a little bit quicker because they have less armor and less HP than the carriers. So the carriers do win in the end, not a single carrier went down, but they did lose most of their HP and their shields. Also, the tanks in the middle got cleared out by the gateway mass, so successful breakout there by Leebokgu, but he has in the process lost about 10,000 minerals. Proxy base here also going down. We still have a single tank there up on the hill, being very annoying. But Leebokgu is hanging in there, he's holding on, doing a pretty good job there at pushing back. Can Voss pull this off though? I don't see a single observer here for Leebokgu, so these raids with Cloak might just be the deal breaker. He scanned, doesn't see that as observers, and he goes in for the kill on the carriers. Carriers are trying to retreat back to base, trying to retreat back to cannons, and he does have a lot of cannons there, but first I think he's going to lose about half of his carriers before the carriers can fight back. That's 4 down. Is he going to go for number 5, number 6, number 7? Gets number 5, doesn't get number 6 there though, but the carriers are pretty much completely dead, except for this one. This one still has some HP, but it isn't looking pretty for Leebokgu here. It isn't looking pretty. Whilst they're still up on the hill, tanks here also on the bottom side, still pushing. Tanks in the middle there. Doing a pretty good job there, although this is a pretty massive gateway army, kind of spread out all over the middle of the map, gonna get in between every single tank on the top of them. Pretty great move there. Loses a lot of the units though, as they are pretty much moving in now as a conga line before getting top of the tanks. The storm there, pretty good job there. Voss not microing his tanks backwards, prepared to lose them as they just deal as much damage as they can before they give their lives for the greater good, the Terran good, the sake of humanity. So Leebokgu once again clears out the middle of the map, and Voss is once again rebuilding his entire factory mass. Also running out of money now as he suddenly lost about 5,000 minerals, and Leebokgu also now already down to 12,000 minerals all the way from 29,000. So very soon he's going to feel the fact that he's got a smaller, small rope count on his workers, and he's going to have to replace a lot of units with probes to recover all that lost money. Otherwise, he's at some point going to run out and find himself unable to even keep producing or maxing out. Ooh, the Corsairs there take care of the vessel. The Arbiter's now completely free to cloak those units on the low ground. Tanks are this time around, getting microed backwards. He is starting to realize that he really has to micro his tanks. Once again, a lot of Valkyries and Raids ready to move out to kill some carriers. More carriers are on the middle, in the base on the way. Goes in, kills the Zealots there, and now this Valkyries and Raids are coming in. Does he have... He's got energy for a stasis, but doesn't decide to use it. The Arbiter is still running away, goes down. Another Arbiter there in the back got EMP'd. I think he assumed both of his Arbiters got EMP'd, because I think he would have tried to at least EMP a couple of his Valkyries or Raids if he had noticed the energy on the second vessel. So Voss, once again moving across the map, ready to roll into Leebokgu's base, set up shop, and be comfortable with the push forward. But as I said before, Leebokgu has a lot of supply in gateway units, and they're going for the counter move once again. Storm for the tanks, tanks go down, take a lot of damage there. Forced to pull back, sieges up, but I think this is to no avail. But more tanks are on the way to join their tank brothers, but the Zealots there breaking through. Still has no more storms left, though this one, yes, that one has a storm. So moves out into the middle. Let's look at the HP bars just for fun. Look at them disappear. So yeah, it looks like the tank count is simply not enough to keep up with the absolutely enormous army size that Leebokgu has right now, although he is finally adding on more probes to get a couple more minerals in his bank once again. Valkyries there still waiting for carriers, but he cancelled the carriers. He cancelled all of his carriers, knowing and realizing that his carriers have, this game so far, actually not achieved anything. So the difficult part of this game right now is the fact that Leebokgu is so occupied with keeping up with Voss's production that he cannot build a proxy base, because any actions not going into production and fighting are going to give Voss the edge. Because it's at the moment, Leebokgu is playing on 380 APM with just building and controlling and fighting units. Just using and building the units. So building a second base or a proxy base for gateways or carriers is not in it for now. Voss though, his bank has shrunk tremendously. 3,500 minerals left, 1,500, 1,600 gas remaining. So at some point, I think one of these two players is going to find themselves in a resource problem, where they are low on resources, probably too low to keep mass producing all those tanks, Valkyries, Wraiths, and Goliaths. This game is pretty standard. We are not seeing any tricky, fancy stuff. We're just seeing core fundamentals of production. They're seizing the means of production and trying to put them to great use, trying to seize the moment and lead to the revolution in beating their opponent. The Zealots are getting a pretty good spread there on all the tanks, and the tanks will not be able to fight against the Storms. They are absolutely brutal. The Wraiths take down the shuttle though, but the Storms also come down on the Wraiths, and Voss just lost a lot of supply on the middle, and he has a lot of tanks back at home. But he's waiting for the Zealots to arrive so he can siege up. Or is he going to move to the front? He's moving to the front. The Valkyries are still just hanging there, waiting for carriers, but there's Arbiters instead. Maybe he's going to try to snipe the Arbiters with the Valkyries, Observers on the middle as well, just in case the Wraiths come back and make a return. Yeah, they're up to something. Not sure what they're up to though, but they're up to something. Vessel is joining them, although I don't think he can achieve much with that Vessel and the Wraiths, unless he's waiting for the Arbiters to move out. Because I did just hear a scan sound, which might indicate that he knows these Arbiters are there. But he's keeping them on the bottom side for now, although he's returning back to the middle as a mass gateway army is dancing back and forth on the middle, waiting for Voss to move out. This is now a game of chicken. The first person to move out is going to be on the bad end of this exchange. Although he finds the Arbiters, finds them, tries to kill them, almost succeeds. It looks like he's going to succeed in at least killing some of them. One has gone down, number two won't go down. It's being very stubborn. And there is the dropship mass with Wraiths mixed in as well. Vessel there in the back for the EMP, or maybe Oh, he's gonna try to take down the Nexus, but everything pretty much goes down before it can even be effective. The Arbiter there takes down the Wraiths with the Stasis and take down the dropships before they can fully unload. The tanks also went down to the cannons, and now a frontal tank is happening here as well, but there's so many tanks here that he's never ever gonna break through. The tank mass, the tank count is absolutely ridiculously massive. He tries to remedy the tank count a little bit with some stasi, but the stasis there not really getting much done. I count about 6 tanks stuck in stasis. He does get a lot of storms down on tanks, but there's still so many tanks there in the back that nope, he's not going to break through, and he's so far away from Voss's base that I don't see him replacing his gateway units quick enough to send them back into battle, and Voss will, of course, because he's cross-map, have finished all of his own tanks back home as well. So this game is looking rather dire for Leebokgu, but Voss also is pretty much broke. He ran out of minerals and he's running out of gas as well. He has too few SCVs to keep up the means of production. There's more demand than there is offer, and he might start feeling the hurt from being in such a small income position. Whereas Leebokgu is managing to hold up pretty well because he's still not really mining any gas, except for those 6 probes mining gas still. Zealous entering the middle, getting a pretty good jump up on those tanks there, though. Tanks are mining backwards, trying to escape the clutches of these Zealot blades. But no, most of them have gone down. Zealots eventually did go down. He's now chasing them down with the raids just to finish them off, just in case. Now more Zealots on the middle of the map, ready to strike back. Mass army. The raids there doing a pretty good job there. Kills the observers just in case he's going to have to kill them. And indeed, he had to kill them because carriers are on the way. And what are carriers weak against? Raids. Just because there's no observers. And without observers, the raids don't do much. Takes down the cannon as well to avoid detection. It's just going to hang them up in the air there, waiting for the carriers to spawn. Mass tanks are once again entering the middle of the map. This time around, his tanks are pretty well spread out, but so are the Zealots. The Zealots have a flank of sorts on the tank mass, but the tank mass is migrating backwards, gets on top of most of the tanks, but the tanks there do such a great job of dealing damage to the Zealots. Takes most of them down. Once again, more raids are entering the map. The Arbiter took down some raids, but now the carriers have spawned, and I think one carrier at least is gonna go down to the raids. Is it gonna go down? Is he gonna get it? He gets the Arbiter instead. Now gonna chase down the carriers. The vessel goes down before the EMP, so the carriers still have pretty much most of their shields left and remaining. But it looks like Leebokgu is starting to feel the pressure mount up. Corsairs are spawned to take care of the raids. Great adaptation there from Leebokgu, but the Corsairs themselves, after they take care of the raids, won't have much value anymore unless he has Disruption Web. But I don't think he researched it. Maybe he did. It would be fun to see them. Although, ooh, the last couple of carriers still alive help with pushing back the tanks back into the middle. But there's so many tanks on the middle here that the Zealot mass, this handful of Zealots, there was a mass, but now it's a handful of Zealots, doesn't really do much. We have more carriers on the way here though, and once the carriers all spawn, and once they all have interceptors, this game might turn ugly, but more raids once again entering the battle. And he has an observatory there in the front, but he finds the probe, he finds the observers. Both observers have gone down, now the carriers are getting chased down once again. The robotic facility is actually unpowered. He killed the pylon, so no more observers coming out into the map for Leebokgu, and the raids are slowly taking care of them. Carriers are trying as hard as they can to fight back. Once again, Proton Scan kills the robotics. Tried to see if there was one more observer there hanging above the robotics, and there is in fact one more observer there. Of course, he scans it, takes down the observer as well, and now there's nothing standing in between his raids and the carriers, except a couple of cannons are in the back. But the cannons are going to go down to the tanks soon as well, as the tanks keep marching forward inch by inch, threatening and choking the life out of Leebokgu, as more Valkyries now and raids flying across the map to join their brothers to take down the carriers, which are actually doing a pretty poor job against the Valkyries, which are directly attacking the carriers. He knows he can afford to lose the Valkyries and raids here because more are on the way as the tanks are pushing forward with their ground supremacy. Ground tank supremacy, the Terrans are dominating. Voss is gonna take home the W here for sure. I don't see this game turning around for Leebokgu, although I wish to believe there's still a chance. There is still a chance. Basically, if those tanks spread out too much and are spread out too thin, the Zealots that keep continuously spawning have a small chance of slowly reducing the number of tanks. But once these tanks here siege up in the middle of the base here of Leebokgu, I don't see things turning around anymore, as the carriers keep struggling in dealing with the Valkyries. There's an EMP there on. Ooh, the EMP actually missed. So there's still stasis danger hanging in the air. But now the raids are coming in to finish off the carriers. The carriers are running away towards the cannons, but they're not fast enough. The cannons are not fast enough to take down the raids, as most of the carriers have gone down. The raids all do give their life though, but the Arbiter also goes down. 2 more carriers left alive hanging in the air, but they are also going to meet their doom. And I think that's it, boys. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it, my friends, as Leebokgu calls the GG, and Voss takes home the W after 43 minutes of a well-earned battle. Voss wins this game. It took him a while, but Leebokgu put up a great fight. But Leebokgu was extending his fate, unable to go for drops after Voss just gained complete control over the game. There's so many turrets in his base. He kept flying over the bottom side though, but Voss is so difficult to storm drop once he is completely comfortable with his state of life and state of affairs. So looks like that's it. That's the game for today. I hope you enjoyed it. This battle between, let me switch back, Voss versus Leebokgu. And this is actually what they look like. They actually look like this. For sure, they really do. So that's it for today. Hope to see you back next time around. And I hope this rivalry will in the future once again produce us some nice action-heavy games. Although I am a little bit sad about the first 15 minutes, where it was pretty much very small attempts at making something happen from Leebokgu. Even though his playstyle is honestly the best when he's trying to really put the pressure on his opponent with great shuttle drops and diverse strategies. But, you know, this is the price you pay if your high-risk strategy doesn't pay off in the early game. you get a very difficult and hard struggle in the late game that is just very difficult to play against a Terran. And Voss has an amazing late game Terran. But thanks for watching, and see you next time.